Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I would like to share my learnings with you as what I have learned in the lessons that we had. The poem is entitled The Battle. The battle. Seconds, minutes, and hours pass by as the child is still confused in the middle of acquiring knowledge. A soul is hunger for learnings. The moment that you saw him in the middle of battlefield with no weapon and armors, the soul is struggling. How can a child defeat its enemies when he doesn't have an armor to hold, a sword that would defeat 1,000 warriors of ignorance? Words are powerful weapons, defeating the monster inside and out, screaming and seeking for help, but only one able to hear, the king. The King of Kings speak with all the wisdom, healing the hungry soul fed with wisdom. As the soul is wrapped with knowledge, ready to take its own pace, reconstructing what has been destroyed in the past, rising with armor. When action speaks louder than words, the new soldiers of 21st century bring the remedy for society to collaborate, think critically, and communicate. The independent and responsible soldiers have found their way out, shouting and screaming, the battle of ignorance has ended. We wanted change, inspiring others, where paradigm shift shine as it is. As the king and its men love everything, the fear vanishes too. The king itself is the teacher, as students were the soldiers, fighting for the dreams they chase, crossing the path of changes together. Happiness is a reflection of victory, a shadow of an easy path. This victory is beneficial for all, black, yellow, white, and blue. To expound or explain further my poem, I would also share my reflection or understanding on the lessons. The poem was all about the battle. The teacher as the king, which is the ruler of the kingdom, and the students as the warriors. Life is a battle for people who are struggling, maybe struggles to survive, and learning is also a battlefield. Learning is not easy as it seems, and it undergoes modifications. There are students who struggles to learn. It can be struggle in reading, counting, collaborating with others, and many more struggles we don't know because people face different struggles and giants in life. We also know that king governs its men, and he is the one who's responsible in his men. Just like in school, the teacher do their best to lead their students in the right path. The way a teacher teaches everything in their students, they should also be considerate if their strategies are effective or not, because we cannot say that a teacher teaches effectively when the students did not learn something, and when students learn, they would also be showing or performing output from what they have learned. But what would students do if they did not learn anything? Maybe the teachers would also question themselves, aren't they good enough? And maybe question would come into their mind. But good thing, they did not just think, but they also give solution to it. So from the modern way of teaching, which is the teacher-centered approach, they shift into student-centered approach, which they think it would transform and change students. Student-centered approach mold and shape students into a better individual because teachers only facilitate and guide students while learning, depending on what way students learn more. By changing their strategies in teaching, students become independent and active because they collaborate to their teachers. Especially in 21st century, students should be able to communicate, be imaginative, and think critically. Nowadays, having a good grade doesn't mean you would be the eye of opportunities, but one should also know how to apply his or her learnings, for it is outcome-based. One success results many good things like having a good career in the future, and that the society will also benefit from one's existing and progress. To have a better world and society, we should be better than the old version of ourselves. Having this course gives me a lot of realizations. The way teachers teach students, I know it wasn't easy for teachers, but it's difficult also on the students' part trying to understand and put everything in our mind what teachers say in front of the students for 8 hours. Find it boring most of the time, sitting and listening all day to the teacher's lesson. Sometimes we, as a students, ask in our mind, does teacher keep on talking all day? Hope she or he would give a funny and joyful activity, a way better than discussing in front. Over the years, teacher strategies and way of learning had changed. Looking back at my elementary days, I really find teachers so boring except the teacher I had, which I consider her as an effective teacher because non-readers really learn to read and I could still remember the things she has to do just to see that her students learn because she used to tell a story like she really a good storyteller. Then after she would have games for us related to the story. She tell us and as a child that time I find it more interesting than listening to her all day discussing things. She also makes me realize that learning is fun and learning does not end in the four corners of the classroom. She really encouraged her students to read and practice what we have learned in the school. After learning and letting the students learn by itself, teachers should also assess their students about what they have learned. Learning is a long process and students need teachers' guidance in learning. But it also good when teachers use the student-centered approach, making the students an independent one. Teachers are flexible in teaching students because not all students have the same level of learning and intelligence. This requires the teachers to engage in different strategies in learning to push the students into their fullest potential. This course taught me what to do in the near future. Standing for this profession, the teachers should be more observant on their students so they would be able to understand why most children perform those kind of behavior inside the classroom, and so teachers will be able to give or apply the right strategy that best fit for her students. Often, the performance of the child depends on how the teachers handle their students. I will apply the different strategies I had from this course for different strategies I'll be handling in the future. That will be all. I'm from Team Faith.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Christian Maramo from Team Face. World is evolving and so are the people. Today's generation, we can interact with many types of people and the ability to connect, cooperate, and learn with others who are different will benefit us in many ways. This type of learning, combined with knowledge, competences, values, and attitude, will help us future educators and students of this generation. These skills are also intended to help us students to keep up in this lightning pace of today's modern market. As the world changes, of course, way of learning is changing as well. Student-centered learning engage students like never before that it creates independent, responsible learners. Adjustment and learning and how everything works will take a while, but of course, in the end, it will help us with our future. I actually chose this topic, student centered learning, because I like the fact that it focuses on the students and both students and teachers learn things together. I also like this learning style because most or all of the students are actively involved in everything that is happening in the classroom, as well as classroom culture is very cooperative, collaborative, and supportive. Student teachers relationship is actually a personalized learning. Teachers need to know who their students are, what they are learning, and how they can learn best. Students are also encouraged to ask from their peers before asking the teacher. So with this, students will have the opportunity to interact with other students and will learn that every student have strengths in, of course, different areas. The ownership of students when it comes to their education also increases in this type of learning. They are more comfortable in doing their own task, and of course, they ask first to their peers or classmates as a first resort. Students can practice and enhance their skills since this student-centered learning incorporates their skills and interest into the learning. As a student, we must be open to our teachers and trust them because at the end of the day, even though the classes is already done, they will always be there to answer our queries. Also, let us not practice procrastination since it will cause negative impact into our school performance, and we must keep track of our progress so that we are aware where we on our performance, what needs to be done, and what needs to work on. So with this, if we are able to plan and organize our time wisely, we will not only feel that we are working towards our goals, but we are also developing life skills such as self discipline, focus, and determination. Learning about this 21st centered learning can stimulate creativity and innovation, which it offers new ways of thinking. We future educators and students of this generation will be empowered for lifelong learning in today's complex world. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all of my explanation regarding about the topic that I chose. So, here is my short poem regarding the topic, and I hope you liked it. Education is one of the people's treasure that no one can even measure. Teaching styles every tenor has changes to build on new learning phases. Changes is part of the evolution to have a better education. Learning materials is quite different in order to mold students' intellect. In the 21st century learning education, students are the main foundation. It is their responsibility to explore about the topic they are focusing for. Education also has philosophies, the three types of student-centered philosophies, the two types of teacher-centered philosophies, and the three major theories. Learning all of this makes me happy. I will bring these learnings through eternity. To end this, all I can say is this. Welcome to the learning of 21st century. Thank you.
The student-centered learning. The student-centered learning, often referred to as project-based learning or PBL, is a 21st century concept implementing a new curriculum using technology and the students' own abilities to pursue a higher standard learning than the traditional learning styles. Where Stephanie Bell in 2010 states it best, project-based learning is not a supplementary activity to support learning, but it is the basis of the curriculum. Where the concept of student-centered learning is to bring the classroom and students to life, where the teacher is considered as a guide on site, assisting and guiding students to meet the goals that have been made by the students and the teacher. Students of all academic levels work together in small groups as a team, where it helps them to bring out the strength of each student, challenging them in a non-threatening environment to meet higher levels of critical thinking. grouping students of all academic levels, mixing the males and females, the athletes, the popular ones, and the socially awkward, breaks down the social structure of cliques often found within schools. A learning structure that leads to a higher self-esteem, better communication skills, and in unifying students in the diverse, multicultural society they live in. Student-centered learning looks out at the student with special needs that help them excel in group structures, and by pairing them with students of higher performance has engaged them to work harder. It is also suggested that pupils who need help benefit because of being able to turn to peers for assistance. It also helps them to easily understand and focus on what is needed to provide them with explanations faster than what a teacher can, which eliminates the issues of falling behind or not being understood by the peers. Teaching them to work together to accomplish the task at hand helps the student with learning difficulties benefit through project-based learning in academic performance, motivation, cooperative learning, and social acceptance. I have a classmate that have a cleft palate disorder or bingot in Tagalog. As he cannot speak normally, he is having difficulties to start a conversation and unable to create a better communication. Because of this, he cannot say and ask what his question. Also, he have difficulties in learning, and he cannot easily understand what is our teacher discussing in front. He cannot easily participate in any group activities, in reporting or in role-playing. As some helps him at least in assisting, it wasn't enough or even give him any progress because of a little time we can give to him, and most of the class just ignore him. Unable to understand the topics, he got failed scores in quizzes and tests, and unfinished activities on the tests given to us resulted in failing marks. As the same scenario he experienced throughout the long years in attending school made a barrier, a feeling of unbelongingness, lost his self-esteem, and interest in going to school to continue his studies. The student-centered learning, where it aims to help students with special needs to excel in group and given the equal privilege to enhance each individual's skills and attain other skills and abilities, taught students to help one another and treat everyone equally, embrace each student's flaws, and helping one another grows. No one shall be left behind. With the help of the project-based learning, it strengthened the relationship inside the class as a family and not as competitors, helping students with special needs gain to boost their confidence again and do the best they can to become a better version of themselves. I made a poem about the topics that I've chosen, entitled Student-Centered Learning. In a classroom daily routine, the teacher came in. Students stand and greet. As the permission granted, we go back to our seat. During discussion, pay attention. As I started, be active. I discuss lessons to be taught. Listen and stay put. When I talk, you are not allowed to interfere and wait for the time you'll be answered. A classroom where the teacher is the authority, we students must follow what we are instructed or ought to be. With different alternatives, new ideas and theories created. A new method way of teaching, the student-centered learning. An instructional approach that focuses on the learners rather than the teacher. A personalized and competency-based, improves each individual's need. A learning that takes ownership for which it possibly occur in a time, anywhere. A new kind of teaching that creates independent and responsible learners. Enhances individual skills, sharing own ideas with other students, and make a higher level of criteria. Consisting of three types of philosophies: the progressivism, existentialism, and social reconstructionism. Teaching students through personal experiences and exploration on things. Discussion in small groups, debating and explaining individuals' opinions, and create activities that awakes their interest. sharing their ideas on a specific topic, and making a back-to-back pad or a 500 words essay. Learners do their work by presenting and role-playing by group. Application of rationalization and analyzation in giving a solution using a specific equation. Spot a reliable and safe source of information for a thesis presentation. Preach the importance of online technology that needed in networking and research study. An equal treatment for all the students. Special education for students needs special attention. Collaboration for an effective communication. Molding each personalities in good character qualification. A learner that can think rationally helps to develop minds that think critically. Teacher-centered learning to student-centered learning, in the making and developing higher levels of each learner's thinking.
Good morning everyone, I am Gadwil J. Santa Cruz and today I'm going to present my output which is all about a run-through of my overall learnings and understanding of the subject facilitating learner-centered teaching. For the past months, I was able to gradually accumulate and stimulate the necessary knowledge needed to be able to cultivate and demonstrate the concepts and principles of learner-centered teaching on educational philosophies and theories and to be able to apply its importance and implications in the whole educative process. Furthermore, I was able to utilize the 6 C's of the 21st century learning skills that are mentioned in the course introduction. The course itself is indeed fascinating to venture, and without a doubt, I learned more about its nature, philosophies, and implications. Consequently, I'll be sharing my learnings of the article on student-centered learning. The context of this article delineates about the significance of student-centered learning and its implications towards attaining a successful curriculum that adheres to the learning structure of both the teachers and the students. Upon reading the article that substantiates the overall concept of student-centered learning, it taught me that it is possible for an individual to increase his or her performance with the aid of this curriculum. This will help in escalating prominent skills and equally compelling capacities that enable students to bring out the best of his or her capabilities. Through this method of learning, especially with the help of the teacher, a student can feel comfortable in the midst of learning. In fact, the article focuses on the concept of implementing a curriculum that utilizes technology as well as the students' own abilities to amplify their performance and reach higher standards. Also, it is clear that the objective of student-centered learning is to bring the classroom and students back to life in the sense of becoming one with the environment that fosters unity, which leads to higher self-esteem and better communication skills of the students, thus making learning fun at the same time. Overall, with the help of this subject, I came up to a realization that being an educator is a noble profession that requires passion, patience, perseverance, and a heart. As stated in the article, the teacher is considered a guide on the side, assisting and guiding the students toward achieving their goals. I realized that the teacher or educator needs to be flexible in addressing to the needs of the students in order to build a healthy relationship which fosters respect and gain their trust. A truly passionate teacher always loves what they do and always give their best to bring out the strength of each student. As an aspiring educator, I will use the knowledge to commit and devote myself to teaching when I become one in the future. I will do everything that I can in building a learning environment with love and compassion. As of now, while I'm still a student, I will do my best to adhere to the highest standard of etiquette by strengthening a healthy relationship to my teachers and fellow students in order to foster respect and compassion within the student body. I will uphold the value of respect and actively listen to the teachers and exhibit appropriate behavior towards them. In line with my realizations, I made a poem which delineates my gratitude towards the teachers. I chose this one because it has a significant impact all throughout my life. We are who we are today because of the help of our teachers, and because of them, we are a few steps closer to our dreams. A teacher is the star who taught me how to shine. You are always the best guides to help us feel aligned. It takes a special person who always gives their best. In every means possible, truly we are blessed. To show a child how he is unique, with talents deep inside, to build his confidence so he can stand with pride. To show a little patience for a child who's lost his way, motivating every student so they can see the better days. You patiently guide us along with a magical mystical glow, investing your heart in the work and helping us learn and grow. Opening our hearts and minds like never before, telling us stories that we can't ignore. You smile as bright as the sun, which you've shown throughout the years, helping us get through our problems and making them all so clear. When times get hard and rough, a teacher is like a light, showing us the way and making our paths bright. You help us feel inspired, making our lives vibrant, giving us the courage when things are getting hard. Our future brightens with each lessons you teach, each smiles you lengthen, and goals that you help reach. With the love and support you give, confidence starts to grow, giving us knowledge and wisdom for the sake of our tomorrow. You help us rise and fight and making our ambitions bright. For allowing me to dream and soar like a kite, thank you for being my mentor and light. At this point, I'm going to present my learnings using the Sera format to further elaborate my understanding of the topic, facilitating learner-centered teaching. So the context of this presentation is to give a summary of all the learnings and understanding of the course, facilitating learner-centered teaching. This includes all of my experiences, expectations, realizations, and as to how I can apply this lesson in my life. Upon going through my summary, it taught me a lot of things in life, especially on the importance of the role of the teachers. It taught me the value of a teacher's role as well as how they should function in specific learning environments. I've also learned that it is vital on having mutual respect with one another and fostering a healthy relationship. With this thought, the teachers can help the students in escalating their knowledge and skills towards fulfilling their dreams and goals in life. I've realized that this course was designed to help us be equipped in the future. We are all aspiring educators, and this course was specifically designed to help us on what we should do when we become one in the future. I've also realized that I still have a lot of ways that I need to improve and I should gain knowledge of. I still have a lot of things that I should learn and comprehend in order to be fully equipped in handling any learning environment that I will face in the future. I can apply this by embodying all the things that I've learned as well as on the things that I will learn in the future. I will manifest on strengthening my passion and dedication towards teaching and for the development of my individuality. With all of this, I can gradually become the person that I aspire to be in the future one step at a time.
Hi guys, good morning. This is Kenji Rivera Timpo, your classmate. So I made this video to share to you what I learned in all our discussions in our subject refers the EDUC 103, which is the facilitating learner-centered teaching. So without further ado, let's start. What I learned in EDUC 103, which is the facilitating learner-centered teaching. So we have completed already our discussions in the half or the first semester, or like so-called the first period in high school. This presentation will be talking about the summary as my learning throughout the discussions or classes in this subject or course. This will tackle about the orientation of university life as our first class, and which we have made a reflection followed by the article number 13 or number 20, 32 rather, of Kimberly Overby, entitled The Student-Centered Learning. Then the guiding principles for the learning in the 21st century, or the nature of learning, the excerpts from the book Facilitating Student Learner-Centered Teaching by Raganas Likidu 2019. And then the theories of learning, such as 3 types of student-centered philosophies and 2 types of teacher-centered philosophies, and the 3 major theories of learning, and then lastly, how people learn. So my overall experience in all of these lessons are fun and surprising. It was all new to me, the author's theories and principles. It was fun learning from it. It will be stuck in my long-term memory because I like all the lessons. Seriously, I do like to talk. It was all surprising to me because I already have known what learning is, but these are all deep and more than what I expected, and more than from what I know. Learning is a process, yet these principles opens up a lot in my mind, imparts more knowledge to acquire, and helps building such values and competences and applications of these principles in real life. So to sum up what I learned in this course, I made a poem. This is my mode of summary about my learning in this course. This is entitled Learning. I made this free-verse poem so that I can express thoroughly my learning in this course. So this is it. Learning by Trolleyers, Kenji Rivera Tempo. Oh, it is Caraga State University, with core values of competences, service, and uprightness, whose great mission and vision create rules and regulations, and policies as well. Oh, student-centered learning. Kimberly Overby, you're right. Students must have relationship to their teacher, and then connect to students. Makes school fun, so all will be done with technology to make it interesting, so students can do it real and actual. But remember, know what you are suggesting. It should be real and safe. Learning. What is it? Read and know the guiding principles in this century. You will be a competent globally. Oh wait, let me tell you here the guide. It is the academic honesty, information literacy, critical thinking, creativity, STEM learning, concept focused learning, health and mindfulness, and then service learning. This is it? Yes, it is. You will be the 21st century Einstein. Let me tell you a fact. Learning has nature and characteristics. Learning has types and kinds. Learning has laws, but not that of a crime. Learning can improve or develop our skills. Do you know that? And there is what we call transfer of learning. So now, at last, we are in the 8 isms or ISMs. Anybody know about this? I bet you do. It is progressivism, social reconstructionism, and existentialism. Essentialism and perennialism, and behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. Yeah, that was the all 8 isms or isms, right? Learning is fun. There are, but there are also authors who wrote these articles, principles, and theories, and various poems. So that's all about my poem, and I hope you have read it all loud and clear. So as my conclusion, learning is not just acquiring knowledge by such school lessons. Learning is vast. We can learn from our observations, experiences, whether socially or personally, and learning by adaptation in the environment, culture, and traditions we are involved. We also can learn by experimentations, discoveries, or explorations. In any other circumstances, we can learn by undertaking the process, necessary or not, and by our failures and success also. By doing such exercises and any practices, we can already learn at once or by repetitions. On the other hand, learning has many theories, principles, and types or kinds. Learning, as said by some theologians, can be hereditary depending on the way we perceive things or by our insights. I will adapt, integrate, and apply what I have learned from this course right from the start until this ending of the half of the first semester with all the understanding I have. So that is all about my presentation, guys. So I hope you have heard it loud and clear, and God bless.
This is Nova Angel Taban presenting to you what have I learned in this course. Just keep watching. Enjoy! First, let me explain to you about what student-centered learning is. It is a curriculum that, with the help of technology, can help students to take a higher level of critical thinking. In short, this learning experience focuses on the students. I have read a book by Dr. Nelia Estroganas and Professor Maria Gloria Iliquido entitled Facilitating Student-Centered Teaching. But unfortunately, it just ends at the learning pyramid or the retention rate of learning. It shows that lecture is the most ineffective method of learning. It will just be the most effective one when a student is prepared and participates during discussion. On the other hand, the learning pyramid model shows that teaching others is a key to subject mastery. Peer tutoring is the most common form, and the best place is in a study group. However, learning is influenced by own learning style.
In 1983, American developmental psychologist Howard Gardner described 9 types of intelligence, and these are the naturalist or the nature smart, musical, sound smart, logical, mathematical for number or reasoning smart, existential for life smart, interpersonal or people smart, bodily kinesthetic for body smart, linguistic or word smart, intrapersonal for self smart, and spatial for picture smart. This explains why there are various methods of teaching. It was clear in my mind that when I was in grade 1, there was at least an hour given to us to practice reading the prepositions. It was always like that, and then one day, the teacher asked those who mastered reading to help those who are not good at it yet. Luckily, at that young age of mine, I am able to read. Moving on, when I was in grade 10, it was February of 2018, and 2 days before the grand demonstration of a practice teacher, and she gave an activity to us. She told us to group ourselves into 6, then she gave a quote, and with that, we will present something that is related to the quote and according to what we liked as a group. The decision was ours. Maybe we could sing, dance, act, do some magic, or what. The funny thing, our group chose to do some acting. And the silliest thing was my role was a mother who caught his husband cheating. It was the funniest thing I did, I guess. Well, the first example or experience that I shared earlier briefly explains a method of learning, where I, at an early age, has discovered that I can learn more by teaching others, and according to the learning pyramid, it is a 90% effective method of learning, which I totally agrees the most. Then, and the second experience that I mentioned, as I think is the best way of exposing a student's intelligence. Our teacher gave us the chance to choose where we are capable, as maybe one group could perform a song or role playing that will probably show that this group has the higher chance of being sound smart or a picture smart. The teacher, on the other hand, is assisting and guiding the student's own ability. It is clear that the best thing inside a classroom is to have a teacher who does not just teach, but also helping the students to bring out the best they have. Facilitated learning is a way that teachers are encouraging students to learn and absorb information. Students will learn skills, behaviors, attitudes, and critical thinking strategies that are necessary for the chosen careers. This approach helps to improve participation, facilitates personalized learning, collaborative learning, and makes learning fun.
That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Adios.
21st century learners. Today's learners is changing, coping up to the technologies amending, filling their minds with gadgets as bombarded with internets. They rely their academic life to Google. Edge is an easy way without mind boggle. Binding their life without any struggle. That's what 21st century learners are. Educators must take its task so that learners will experience fast. Educators need to learn to ride with the tide so that learners will abide. Technology is the best, but use it with moderation. It is important to weigh its cost for the betterment of the most. So today's teachers are encouraged to design students-centered learning experience that support 21st century teaching and learning. And there is less emphasis in lessons that focus on the of basic facts and concepts, and more emphasis on the 4Cs. So, what are the 4Cs? Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. So, the teachers are expected to develop lesson plans that challenge students to study topics on the following frameworks that foster higher level thinking skills such as web's depth of knowledge, and at the same time effectively integrate the use of technology into daily teaching and learning activities. And also it should be noted that the 21st century skills concept encompasses a wide ranging and amorphous body of knowledge and skills that is not easy to define and that has not been officially codified or categorized. While the term is widely used in education, it is not always defined consistently, so which can lead to confusion and divergent interpretation. In addition, a number of related terms, including applied skills, cross-curricular skills, cross-disciplinary skills, interdisciplinary skills, transferable skills, transversal skills, non-cognitive skills, and soft skills, among others, are also widely used in reference to the general forms of knowledge and skills commonly associated with 21st century skills. While these different terms may not be strictly synonymous, and they may have the divergent or specialized meaning in certain technical contexts, these diverse sets of skills are being addressed in this one area for purposes of practicality and usefulness. And also, while the specific skills deemed to be 21st century skills may be defined, categorized, and determined differently from person to person, place to place, or school to school, the term does reflect a general, if somewhat loose and shifting consensus. The following list provides a brief illustrative overview of the knowledge, skills, work habits, and characteristic traits commonly associated with the 21st century skills. So, generally speaking, the 21st century skills concept is motivated by the belief that teaching students the most relevant, useful, in-demand, and universally applicable skills should be prioritized in today's schools, and by the related belief that many schools may not sufficiently prioritize such skills or effectively teach them to students. The basic idea is that students will come of age in the 21st century need to be taught different skills than those learned by students in 20th century, and that the skills they learn should reflect the specific demands that will be placed upon them in a complex, competitive, knowledge-based, information age, technology-driven economy and society. So while 21st century skills are relevant to all areas of schooling and academic study, and the skills may be taught in a wide variety of in-school and outside of school settings. So, there are few primary ways in which 21st century skills intersect with efforts to improve schools. So, these 21st century skills are more important to students now than ever before. And, and also they not only provide a framework for successful learning in the classroom, but ensure students can thrive in a world where change is constant and learning never stops. And they are also tremendously important for our nation's well-being. Our business community demands a workforce with the skills to ensure our competitiveness in a global economy. And at a time when our civic life feels strained, we want our learners to enter the world with an understanding of what it takes to be a good citizen. One who can be civically engaged, critically thinking, digitally literate, globally aware, and an effective communicator. So that's all.